What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Fourth and Wrong podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Marshall, along with Dallas and Donnie. No Colin today. Nah, I'm just kidding. We miss you, Colin. We'll see you back next week. He just
I don't.
unfortunately he couldn't make it this week. We're gonna miss him on trivia, especially. That he's
He's
on
the
his hot
anchor for
streak.
trivia. He's the
He is.
anchor.
So
It's gonna be
he'll be
crazy getting
back.
up with answers.
He'll be back for the next episode. He's just been a little busy lately, so he told us to do this one without him. This is our post-draft podcast. It's been a little bit after the draft, obviously, but we've just been busy and hard to try and find time to record and all that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna kind of cover the main picks of the draft, anything huge that happened, all the big storylines. Obviously, the biggest one being Shador falling to round 5. And then we'll cover some other NFL news and possibly get into talking about the scheduling. And then we will go into hopefully a little bit of trivia and have a nice little podcast. Also, I doubt anyone's gonna even care or ask, but we've been talking about doing a NBA podcast, just one episode, not a separate podcast. We can't do two podcasts, but we got a buddy who is a big NBA fan.
We'll see how the view goes.
We'll think about bringing him in. So if you want to see that, let us know. I think us talking about NBA might get a little heated just as much as football. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. So Dallas could rig up some little NBA trivia. It'd be pretty sweet. So anyway, obviously first pick in the draft was Cam Ward. Went to the
Obvious.
Titans. I think everyone kind of just there was no question. Unless there was a trade, it was going to be Cam Ward to the Titans. Here's where I burst first one of the night, and we thought, honestly, after this, I was like, this is going to be the craziest draft ever. We're going to see trade after trade after trade after trade. And after this first trade, we didn't see another trade all the way up until pick 26 and 25. That's it. We got 3 trades this draft. So I thought it was going to be crazier, but after this one especially. But the Jags traded from number 5 to number 2. I believe did they give up a first rounder next year to move up? I believe they did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jags giving up a first rounder next year. So Browns, honestly, I kind of agree with the Browns here. I feel like everyone's kind of questioning on how Travis Hunter is going to be. And as much as I'm a Travis Hunter fan, I think that honestly moving back to 5 and getting a player that is really good and also getting 2 first round picks next year when you didn't, I mean, you went and got Shador Sanders, but in reality, I think they would and more than likely want Arch Manning next year. So honestly, not a bad move from Cleveland. But the Jags trade up and get Travis Hunter. Curious to how they're going to play him. It sounds like they want to play him both ways if they can. They need a receiver, but they also probably need defense. So I don't know. I think I don't know how he'll fit. I believe, was from Florida. I don't think from Jacksonville per se, but I think Travis Hunter is from Florida. So it's kind of a cool fit. I don't know. I think it might be okay. I don't know what you guys think.
I think the Jags did a great job getting Travis Hunter. I think he's a phenomenal athlete just in general. If he does play just corner or just wide receiver, you have a solid guy there for sure. Obviously, they just picked up last year Brian Thomas for wide receiver, so I would assume Travis Hunter would be either wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 in the slot if he's not playing corner, or if he is playing corner, he probably could still play the slot. But you never know. I'm just very confused on the Browns not going for Travis Hunter personally. I think the Browns had probably the weirdest draft of all time here.
They had a pretty good draft.
But getting back to Travis Hunter, I think the Jags made a good move picking up Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I'll talk about the Browns in a second once we kind of get to. I feel like Marshall's probably going to go pick by pick, so we'll talk about that in a second. I think the Jags have to play Travis Hunter. Means you're giving up an extra first round. I think they traded a first, a second, and another first, probably along with some other bullshit. So I feel like you have to do it. I know we had a debate a couple months ago. I don't think the Jags roster is all that well, so I feel like they have to kind of play him both ways, not only to justify the trade, but just because I feel like he might be their best corner and he might be like tied for their best wide receiver with Brian Thomas. So, yeah, I mean, I think the Jags are going for it a little early with Cohen. I feel like you should probably give him a year to kind of get his feet wet before you kind of start kind of going into win now mode, which I feel like this is more of like a win now move. But I mean, I think he's a good coach.
Hey,
you got to find out. You really have to find out this year. You have to find out this year if Trevor Lawrence is like a guy or if you're going to have to move on from him. So I kind of get why. You got to see what you got.
Giants, we won't talk about every pick, and I'll probably go pick by pick until like pick 10, and then I'll just skim through it. I'm not gonna go over some of the picks, but Giants go Abdul Carter. I think a lot of people were anticipating that. Patriots go Will Campbell. Looks like an awesome dude. His post draft, like when he got drafted interview was cool as hell. And I saw like Flight's reaction to it. He was like, "Who is this guy?" And then he saw his reaction. He's like, "Yep, this guy's amazing." I was like, "This guy is pretty sweet."
Real quick, can we talk about Abdul Carter trying to get 2 retired jersey numbers? 3 technically.
To be fair to Abdul Carter, he did not request Phil Simms. He wanted Lawrence Taylor's because it got like brought up in an interview, and then Phil Simms like tweeted out like, "I don't know if you want my number, but I would be honored if you'd wear it." And then that's when Abdul was like, "You know what, number 11 would be sweet." And then that's when Phil Simms' family came in. So Abdul didn't ask for both numbers; he only asked for the one. But asking for Lawrence Taylor's number is fucking crazy.
He also hinted at 92, which is Michael Strahan's number.
This man can't find.
Yes.
Bro, just pick a number. It's like make your own number. This man
Donnie
is shocked.
Shut up. I am super, super picky about numbers. And like, I don't know, man. Like, I think asking for Lawrence Taylor's number is fucking crazy. And I saw somebody bring up, which I never thought of this before, but it's a kind of a good point. So, like, jersey numbers should be retired from the team. Like the team, like the Lions retired Barry Sanders. So if we drafted, they wanted Barry Sanders' number, it's up to Barry Sanders to give out the number. You know what I mean? Like the team should come in and be like, "No, this is retired. Nobody's wearing it."
I agree,
but that's not how it operates. That's not how it operates though, because Warren Moon came out and gave Cam Ward number 1 for the Titans, even though he technically never played in Tennessee, whatever. But he came out and he said, "You can wear my number." Okay. So when are we going to get to a point where, like, remember when Cam Newton got drafted into the league? I believe it was Jimmy Clausen, I think, had the number. And Cam had to, like, the thing was that Cam was going to have to pay to get number 1. When are we going to get to a point where, like, Abdul Carter, if he really wanted the number and he tells LT, "Okay, I'll give you $2 million for it." You know what I mean? Because, like, that happens if I come in, if I want number 7 and a team has number 7 currently active, I'll pay the 7. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't they play vets? You know what I mean?
It just depends. I also think that teams should be limited on how many jerseys they can retire, in my opinion. I think
the Giants also have like 15 numbers retired.
I was about to say, I feel like it should be like a limit to maybe like 5, if maybe a little bit more than that. Like, you were to name me, like, as of right now, like off the top of my head, Barry and Calvin's numbers should be retired, like maybe Night Train Lane, and then eventually, like, when Stafford retires, he'll get his number retired. And then probably Chris Spielman, just because he's like an owner type deal. Like, he's got that, but that's 5. And like maybe like Jason Hansen if we really wanted to. And there's a couple other guys in there you could throw in there, but like realistically, that's 6 people. I feel like that's fine. I see retired jersey numbers. Honestly, I've seen them and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who that motherfucker is. Or at least after like a long time, they should come out of retirement. Like, some bro that played in the 20s needs his jersey unretired. Like, please.
I think they need to do how Michael Irvin did 88. He said, "No, the more 88s out there, the more like people think of me." And CeeDee Lamb wears number 88. I think more people should do that personally.
See, I think that's cool if like let's say LT played for the fucking Jags, you know what I mean? Like some random team, and he wore 56. And Drew Carter's like, and he's like, I want to be just like LT, and he wore it on a different team. I feel like to wear the number on the team, like, I don't give a fuck if we draft, if like for whatever reason we get the fucking like Ashton Genty 2.0, like literally the greatest running back prospect of all time. I never want anybody to wear number 20 ever again for the Lions.
Yeah,
like that number could be barred. Like I don't give a single fuck. So it's like, I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, that's cool. Let's make 88 popular. But at the same time, it's like,
and I get players giving out like Phil Simms, Warren Moon, them giving out their jersey numbers. Yeah, realistically, who gives a fuck? Like, I'm not gonna care. Lawrence Taylor, Barry Sanders, that's pushing it. Like when you talk about like greatest guys at their positions, maybe two of the greatest guys to ever touch a fucking football field. So that's pushing it because I feel like it's like Phil said, people that have their numbers retired but also aren't like they're not the biggest of like legends. Like they're still legends, but like not Barry Sanders or Lawrence Taylor.
Those guys are franchise legends. Once you hit like LT and Barry, it's like, okay, that's NFL legends. Like that's like peak sport versus like, oh, you're the best quarterback to ever play for the Giants. You know what I mean? Like that is a very big difference.
That's like fucking like that's like someone bringing like in however many years. They might have already done it. Like and like someone saying, yeah, I want Tom Brady's number. It's like, bro, hey, no, like there's no way. Like, and the only other jersey number that I think should be retired just based off of like, even though not how they play is, I believe it is retired, is Sean Taylor. And he will that one will probably never get worn by a commander ever. I doubt. Like that one is just like, it's kind of like untouchable, I kind of feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, Browns obviously traded back. They went and got Mason Graham, a pretty big piece on that defensive line to go with Myles Garrett, who said he didn't want to be here, and now he is here. Number 6 overall, the Raiders go and get Ashton Genty, a great running back too for them to sit behind and learn by Amir Abdullah. Gonna honestly learn a lot. It's gonna be pretty well for him. Yeah, it's all jokes aside. Raiders are kind of, I feel like the Raiders are getting sneaky. Like they're gonna eventually actually put together a team here soon. Like they bring in Ashton Genty. They brought in Geno.
Yep.
They brought in who they bring in. I thought they brought in a wide receiver, and I can't remember who. Thought it was. Look up the team.
I'm surprised Tyler Lockett didn't go to the Raiders. Now that I'm thinking about it.
No, they didn't get one. Never mind. It's just Jacoby Myers, which I think Jacoby Myers is pretty good. But they brought in Geno. But even then, you got Jacoby Myers. They have freaking Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. Brock Bowers has already shown that he's a freaking beast of a tight end. So, so they have and they brought in a bunch of O-linemen. They brought in Alex Kappa, Jackson Powers Johnson. So
Alex Kappa fucking sucks. What are we
doing? Leave Alex Kappa alone.
Man won the triple crown for offensive.
He might not start. Like goddamn.
And so they've got actually a decent offense, and then obviously defense. Max Crosby, they got Devin White, they got Eric Stokes, Jeremy Chin. So the Raiders are
they're building something.
They're a sneaky team. I'm not gonna say they're gonna go out. They also play in a really fucking hard division, so it's tough for them.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they might finish second in that division this year.
It could happen.
I think the Chiefs
possible.
One
of the Broncos or Chargers could just. I feel like someone in the division's got a tank, and it's not gonna be the Chiefs. So.
I just think the Raiders, like, they're gonna have a 4th place schedule. I haven't looked at who they're playing, but I'm assuming it's the weakest out of the 4 in the division.
They actually play Tom Kennedy every week.
No, I think when you go from like the 30th best quarterback to a guy who's like top 12, top 15 in Geno, and then you go from a really bad running attack to I'm gonna jump the gun. I think Ashton Genty's like literally a Hall of Fame level running back. Like we'll see, but like I think he's that fucking guy. So if your running game and your passing game bottom take to fringe top end, you're gonna get better even if your offense nor defense is amazing. You know, so
hey,
I think
I'm a Lions fan thick and thin, but there might be a new best running back duo in the NFL. Ashton Genty and Amir Abdullah. That is
It's just Ashton Genty.
feeding families for generations. I can't wait for Amir Abdullah. Anytime touchdown scored is going to feed me for generations this year. Anyways, just skimming through the draft right now. We're kind of getting to that where I'm not going to talk about every pick. Panthers went out and got McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona, huge weapon for Bryce Young.
I love that pick.
That is a huge pick for them. They have got some weapons: Xavier Legette, McMillan, Adam Thielen, and then they brought in another guy. I can't remember his name though. Chuba Hubbard. Bryce Young had a really good end to the season last year. They added to their defense. This Panthers team is trying to. They're also not in the greatest division, so they really could just fuck around and go out and try and compete for at least a wild card spot. Because I feel like the Bucs are definitely the top dog right now. Bears go out and Ben Johnson in his first year, they go out and get Colston Loveland. And this isn't me being a Michigan hater. It's kind of like I know he's good, but like Cole Kmet, I honestly thought was a really good tight end. And I know kind of a lot of people are adapting that double tight end set of trying to bring in two. And maybe that's what they're trying to do. But then like you're also heavy on wide receivers. So you got DJ Moore, you went and got Luther Burden. They brought in, I can't remember who else is on that team, but I don't know. I just feel like it probably wasn't the greatest pick for them. Not in terms of Colston Loveland being bad, in terms of like, I think Cole Kmet was a good enough weapon for them. I don't see why you got to add on to that. Yeah, Roma Dunze is who they have, duh. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it.
In terms of position,
I agree.
easy, like a tight end in the top 15 picks historically doesn't really work out too much. But I think Loveland's a dog. I think they wanted a tight end more like Sam Laporta. That's who Loveland reminds me of. Like he's a really good receiver, more so than like an inline blocking tight end. So I feel like he could work in
the division.
They might. We'll wait till predictions week for all that, but
just to take fourth in the division.
I think that was an amazing pick. Like I think that Bears offense is going to be fucking incredible.
Yeah, and then you got DeAndre Swift in the backfield and no offensive line.
That's the biggest deficit.
DeAndre Swift and no offensive line, like
the biggest.
All right,
just Ashton Genty there. I would have lost my shit.
And we're back. No, we were talking about Colston Loveland. So
yeah, those 10.
But kind of moving down the board because there's a lot of guys in here and can't talk about everybody. Going to another big pick. The Bucs went and got Ibuka from Ohio State, big wide receiver. That offense is just a powerhouse. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
Baker's going for 6,000.
Yeah, Baker is. They are letting Baker they're saying we're giving you everything we can in the world.
I don't know what offensive coordinator replaced Cohen. I feel like that's going to be the one thing. Like if that OC, hopefully it's still like a Cohen system where it's just drop back and we're going to fucking spread the ball downfield. Yeah. But I don't know who their OC is now. So
Josh
it could be a
Grizzard.
That guy's
never heard of that man.
That guy's a winner.
That does sound like a future head coach. I'm not going to lie. That dude's going to be coaching the Colts in 2 years for no fucking reason.
Absolutely. Yes, very accurate. Moving back down the board, the Chargers, who had J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, went with Amarion Hampton. And they have Najee, which means Najee is a running back too. There's no way they're going to... This man Najee basically just got put...
Respectfully.
Najee is the new Zeke Elliott.
I was hurt for a minute as a Najee fan, but this is Jim Harbaugh we're talking about. He's going to put both of them motherfuckers on the field at the same time, and they both might go for 1,000 yards in the same season.
Maybe Najee is a water boy, like go give me some water.
Running back and forth from the bench.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
doing that.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I said both of them on the field at the same time, what if this motherfucker signed Najee to be like a fullback? I would be so
goated. Najee could be a fullback.
I could get behind that.
Next pick, the Packers, for the first time in fucking forever, went with a wide receiver in the first round. And as much as I hate the Packers, I'll admit it was a pretty good pick. Matthew Golden from Texas is honestly a pretty decent wide receiver. It doesn't matter when you have a shit quarterback, so he's never going to get the ball.
You know what that tells me more so than anything? I think that's an indictment on Jordan Love more so than anything. Because wide receivers, the Packers wide receivers, on paper, should not need a first-round pick to come in. Like, they need somebody, but not like first-round pick quality.
Yeah.
I think that's Jordan Love. That's a Jordan Love.
What does that mean for Caleb Williams? He got a wide receiver and a tight end in back-to-back drafts.
Last year, it was drafted with him. What the fuck you mean?
They had to get him an extra weapon.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was on the Jordan Love might be better than Caleb Williams. I'm just dead serious.
He is right now.
I think Caleb's like I think Caleb's 30 and Jordan Love's 29, like dead ass. And then McCarthy's 31.
Crazy.
McCarthy's 31.
Hey, do me a favor, clip that shit when Jordan Love leads the league in interceptions and Caleb Williams is a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Clip Pro Bowl for the UFL.
Hey, yeah. Jordan Love got a playoff win. That's all.
Going 2 picks down the board. The Giants traded up back into the first round. Everybody's scratching their heads. Who's it going to be? Is Shedeur, Jackson Dart? Everybody thought probably Shedeur. It was Jackson Dart, which was kind of a question mark on everyone's. Is that personally, I thought Shedeur probably was the better quarterback, but obviously everyone else has got different things in mind. But anyways, Jackson Dart going to the Giants will probably sit behind Russ. I think he is a guaranteed not going to start day one. And it'll be Russ as QB1 until, you know, either they just suck so much they throw him in, or maybe he sits the first year. You never know.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Josh Allen comps for Jackson Dart, and I heard a lot of people saying that the reason they drafted or they traded up to get him in the first round is so they can get that 5th-year option for him.
Makes sense.
That's right, but I mean, people need to calm down. I don't even like Josh Allen. Josh Dart. The best part, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to lie, I'm very confident the reason they took ass name. I feel like that was half the draft process for that man. I don't know about all that. I think he's one of those guys that needs worked with for a while. So I think going to the Giants isn't bad because even if Russ gets hurt for whatever reason, or say he plays like dog shit, they still have Jameis. So I feel like no matter how bad the season goes, he should not see the field a single snap.
And then the last thing we'll talk about in terms of the draft, because there's, actually, sorry, I totally skim over the Lions pick. The Lions go with Tyreek Williams, D tackle from Ohio State. Aleem McNeil is probably talked about as not coming back for maybe almost most of it'll probably be halfway through the season. But just putting some big boy players, and I was watching some highlights of him. He's a really good player. Obviously, realistically, there were players that probably could have been taken. I didn't really want a DB. If we would have taken a DB, I would have been fine. But I didn't want one. We don't need one per se. I think actually we have a lot of depth at the position right now. So I just don't feel like there's a point. The only other position was edge, which really, realistically, all the edges that I wanted were off the board. That Mike Green guy fell all the way to the 3rd round, which was crazy. Real. So yeah, he was obviously just not. People did not like him. So realistically, outside of that, there wasn't really anybody that was like. The only other player I thought maybe was the Jaheed Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama,
that's what I wanted.
Which would have been cool, but. I mean, you guys were talking about that you guys like Jack Campbell and then Alex Anzalone. So realistically, like, where would he play? I don't think. Plus,
it's not like Alex is like 25. Alex, I believe, is 31 or 32. Like,
yeah, and he'll play till he's 38.
Maybe Campbell, okay, yeah, maybe Campbell doesn't play much. Maybe Campbell wouldn't play a shit ton this year, but like, he would be the 3rd best linebacker on the team, which means he's gonna play quite a bit in our base nickel defense, and then if something happens to Alex, like, he would fill in and be. I'm
very excited to see him. He looks like a pretty good player.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a day one starter for us, and I feel like anybody else kind of would have been like a depth like replacement type of guy, and I think we need more day one starters personally. I don't think it's the flashiest pick we could have had, but I think it's a solid, like, if I were to grade it, a B+ type pick.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna also give it a B.
I don't know. I don't love it personally. I didn't want defensive tackle. I wanted defensive line, but I wanted an edge. I wanted a linebacker who could kind of bump down and do a little, like, be off the ball and on the ball as an edge. If, like, let's say Williams was, like, a projected, like, top 15 pick, and then he just kind of fell to us. And I would be like, you know what? I don't really want interior, but, like, he's a steal. We'll take him here. I feel like it was kind of a reach at a position we didn't need to reach for, so I'm kind of like...
Yeah, but that's Brad Holmes' style. He's done it every single draft. He picks.
Yes,
he's not worried about reaching because it's just he's gonna pick the guy where he wants to pick the guy. Yeah. And he did that with Jameer. He did that with Jameer. He did that. He's honestly done that with most of his draft picks, except really Aiden. He just picks him where he wants. Like he's not worried about reaching for him.
Let's say this defense doesn't suffer a bunch of injuries though, and let's say Liam McNeil comes back week 10. Like, realistically, and let's say he's all right by, like, week 12, week 13. So you're talking about this guy who's a first-round pick. Like, if everything goes to how it's supposed to be, he's going to be a legit, like, bench player, like...
For 5-6 games, yeah. I think, which in your rookie year is fine. Once you get unproven.
Better. Then Liam McNeil is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And it's not like Williams, it's not like he's small enough where he can bump outside and just be a bigger end. So it's like...
Yeah, but if he has to sit on the bench for 4 or 5 games while Aleem takes over, that's fine. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I think DJ Reader signed a 3-year deal last year. So, like, it's not like DJ Reader's
I don't think he did. I thought he was on the last year's deal.
I think if Williams plays well, like, obviously Reader is expendable at that point, but, like, I don't know. I think our edge is so...
Yeah, DJ Reader... Oh, shit. DJ Reader is a free agent next season. He is on the... DJ Reader is on the last year of his deal. He's also 31 years old. So, honestly, he's going to play... He's going to play in Aleem's spot. He's going to sit 4 or 5 games when Aleem comes back in, and he'll take over for DJ Reader next season.
Just don't.
I think it makes perfect sense.
I get it and I understand it. I just feel like if we're gonna reach, I would have rather reached for an end. You know what I mean? Like I think DJ Reader and whoever we put next to him would be better to deal with than Hutch and Marcus Davenport as currently constructed. I think
Davenport is on the come up, man.
First off, what I'm reading, I don't think Davenport will play. I don't think he'll start. I think it'll be either
who's going to be the other end then?
It'll be either Josh Pascal or they're talking about apparently they really that's why they re-signed him is they really like the Al Quindin Muhammad guy. Like he fucking is playing very well, so they're thinking about keeping him out there. So, but also I feel like we have a chance
if our plan next year going and trying to win a Super Bowl is Aiden Hutchinson and Al Quinn Muhammad at Ed.
That's solid.
Okay, but like you're picking apart our team saying there are I could bet you I could go on the Chiefs roster right now, find a player, and you'd be like, who? And the same thing with the Eagles. I easily think I could go find
man.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, their start. Do you know this guy? The Chiefs starting corner, Shamari Connor.
Oh, Chamari? Yeah.
We're not talking about fucking corners. I don't know DBs. You're the DB guy. I like fucking defensive linemen.
Oh, what about this? Apparently he might start Ashton Gillety. That's the right edge rusher. Oh my god, bro's a tank.
No, well, like I said, I don't like...
You can pick apart every team and find players that's just like, okay, yes, they probably shouldn't be starting, but they are.
Our weakness, like, looking on paper, should be, like, slot corner and fucking Jack Campbell. It should be, like, our, you look at it, I think to be a real, like, Super Bowl winning aspiration team, you cannot just have like a backup level on one of the edges. I don't think
Zadarius Smith is still sitting there. We might go get him.
If they were to go out, like it comes out tomorrow, they re-sign Zadarius Smith and they bring in Javon Clowney. And your plan is, okay, we're gonna rotate Smith and Clowney on one side, have Hutch, Muhammad's going to be the first guy, like the first reserve, and then Pascal's going to work inside and outside. I think that would be good. I think that would be good enough where it's like, okay, that's probably like a top 10-ish pass rushing unit, and that one I would be okay with. As of right now, though, Zadarius Smith is not on the team, and Javion Clowney is probably not going to get picked up by the Lions. So we're rolling with Hutch and a bunch of just fucking guys, and I don't think that's good enough.
I think it'll be fine. Well, moving on, because we are on a 40-minute timer here, unfortunately, because we are rich like Colin.
Yeah, $15 a month, by the way.
Yeah, fuck that.
Shedeur Sanders. The biggest story of the draft is Shedeur Sanders falling out of not the first round, not the second round, the third round, the fourth round, a fifth round pick. He was a top 10 on people's draft board, and bro fell to the fifth round. This will be talked about for years, no matter the outcome of how he is in the NFL. He could be the biggest bust. He could be the biggest superstar. This will be talked about as one of the craziest, like, unbelievably draft slides in football history.
Bigger than Bo Callahan.
That might be pushing it.
Not
Gonna be
bigger.
tough.
So, and it's not like
Bo Callahan still finished in the top 10.
Yeah, but Bo, like, when we talk about Bo
yeah.
Callahan, he was like Trevor Lawrence on steroids coming out of college. Like,
Yeah, look at Trevor Lawrence now. So,
well, but it's not Bo Callahan's fault. He had fucking Diddy as his fucking agent. So
that is fair.
It's wild that he fell that far. I can't believe Jackson Dart went over him. I can't believe a lot of these guys went over him.
Man.
A guy that I liked and honestly I was okay with, Jalen Milroe going to the Seahawks, and apparently apparently they say he looks great. Like, he has been playing amazing there. So honestly, like I told
Sam
you
Darnold
guys,
better watch out.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold's going to go to a team where he doesn't have Kevin O'Connell, and I feel like Sam Darnold's going to go back to being okay, and Jalen Milroe will slowly take over the next season or two. But Shedeur falling that far, and now being in the Browns in a quarterback room full of Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders, and Deshaun Watson. That's a big QB room, and I would love to be in a room with all five of them having a team meeting, because man, those guys, you've got you've got the old guy, just, old head, old vet. You've got the scrawny, freaking small-handed, not really good at football quarterback. You've got a rookie who's on perfect timing, and his dad basically owns everything. You got Dylan Gabriel. I don't even know what to say about Dylan Gabriel.
Bro's a college merchant.
Bro's the most generic fucking prospect of all time.
And then Deshaun Watson's getting a Mashaz. So, yeah.
Mashaz?
I don't know.
Him and Justin Tucker now.
Yeah. I didn't see Shedeur falling that far. At one point I agree with Donnie. I felt bad a little bit.
Man,
like you feel bad for the man, but
especially after the prank phone call.
Yeah, there are a lot of those happened.
Apparently. Yeah, apparently he wasn't the only one.
Yeah, it's absurd that shit is happening. I'm glad the league came down hard on the Falcons. The league needs to come down hard on every team that was involved in some shit like that. This is the fucking NFL. We can't be having that shit happen. What the fuck are we doing? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that kid got his ass beat later that night with a belt.
Well, what pisses me off is not that happened. It's that dude was 21, 22, 23 years old. Bro, you're a fucking adult. Shedeur Sanders can come beat your ass and it would be justified. What are we doing?
Well, all in all, the 2025 draft, it was not, I wouldn't say it was the fewest trades, I believe, in the longest time. Wasn't a lot of trades, but some good prospects, and we'll revisit this in a year or so and realistically see how these guys did after their rookie year. So, yeah. Can you see how much time we have left, Alice?
No, I think it only gives me the 10-minute warning.
I think you started it back up at 11:07-ish, so we got a little over 20 minutes. So, not much else in the NFL. Justin Tucker gets released. George Pickens traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Will be wide receiver 2 behind CeeDee Lamb. So right now, the Steelers are quarterbackless and have one wide receiver, and that's about it. So, I don't know what the plan is there. So, but I think George Pickens on the Cowboys is wild. I mean, I think the Cowboys are going back to their roots of really good offense and mediocre defense, possibly. But I don't know. It's
I
hard
did
to
see
say.
I saw a lot of people saying that Roman Wilson looked really good, and that's what helped motivate them to trade Pickens. They think he's
Mm,
gonna have a breakout year basically.
mm.
And I mean, if you can get that out of a year two wide receiver, why not? You know, you get to hold on to him for another 2, maybe 3 years.
Yeah,
So
get all the attitude out of it. I don't know. I don't think it makes too much sense because George Pickens was a very you didn't he didn't really have great quarterback play these last couple of years. But anytime you put that man might be a top 5 jump ball receiver in the NFL currently. Like he could go up and catch just about any football you wanted to. Um, he's a damn good receiver. He's only 24 years old, so him and CD could do numbers.
I saw somebody talking about it's not like nothing's beneficial, but like logic would tell us that it must be George Pickens like requested like some crazy number in some contract talks because I think they traded for DK Metcalf and it wasn't this is the replacement for George Pickens. It was like okay, now this offense is like whoever plays quarterback, you have DK and George Pickens, like it could be really explosive.
Yeah.
And then trading George Pickens, it's like okay, it's kind of a net negative. Like DK is similar-ish to George. So it's like, I think best case scenario, it's kind of a wash. So it's like, I feel like they just traded him because they know they're not going to re-sign him for whatever number he wants. And a sneaky loser in this trade, I feel like, is Brian Schottenheimer for the Cowboys. What a rough year, like a year one for a rookie coach. You got the Cowboys, which is already like a turbulent job to have outright. You got Dak and Micah. Micah's fucking his contract talk and dealing with how he is with the media. You got CeeDee Lamb, and then now you're adding George Pickens, who is, by all accounts, a fucking menace. Like
it was a crash out for sure.
If he goes game one, and let's say he gets like 2 targets, he has like 1 catch for 5 yards, he might punch Brian Schottenheimer in the fucking face. Like, off rip, and I don't think anybody would be shocked.
I'm just glad it happened. The best thing about the trade is that clip being brought up of Jordan Lewis getting bitched. It's funny too because after that happened, he like posted videos online, like slamming on George Pickens' name. He tried to defend himself, say that it was a cheap shot. Bro, it doesn't matter what you say. You could say anything in the world. You got bitched, and there is nothing you can do to come back from that. That was the smoothest face mask pull ever. I laughed so hard the first time I saw that. The way everything was in motion, too. Just like him taunting. And it's like, I don't feel bad for him because bro asked for it. Bro started taunting and then George Pickens like, yes, sit your ass down. Like, I love that clip. And then he tweets, yep, I knew I should have gone to Jacksonville. It's like, yeah, because George Pickens would have beat your ass in training camp if you didn't.
Man.
That clip, I will always find that clip so funny.
I was him out of just shut the fuck up. That clip does not need to resurface if I'm Jordan. I'm just shutting my mouth and I'm hoping that clip just fades into obscurity.
Oh. Anyway, last probably 15 minutes we got. Dallas, roll us with some trivia, and we'll get out of here.
All right. Pull up this.
I think we probably got about 20-ish minutes, 19 minutes-ish. Let's see time you send that code.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you sent that code 21 minutes ago. We joined. So, yeah, I would say about 20. What is this?
All right. We got some wickedness going on this.
Thank God Colin's not here. He would be
this man Colin would still be reading the wheel.
Facts. So, this is guess the year based off of the wheel spin. So, whatever the wheel spins to, it's going to land on a category. You're going to have the categories of passing yard leader, MVP, rushing yard leader, defensive player of the year, NFC number 1 seed, receiving yard leader, Super Bowl winner, AFC 1 seed, and then the sack leader. So using
Amir Abdullah has half of those.
So using those categories, you have to guess which NFL season it is. And I have 3, so it'll be a best out of 3 between.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so I'm confused.
So the wheel's gonna spin. The wheel's gonna spin. It'll land. For instance, if it lands on NFC number 1 seed, I will tell you who the number 1 seed for the NFC was for this year, and you have to guess.
The year?
Yep. So every wheel spin, you can guess the year. If you want to not guess, you can, but someone could snipe the year.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
makes
I get it.
sense?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Let's
All right.
hit this full screen.
Marshall, who should we rock paper scissors for who goes first?
Dallas, pick a number between 1 and 10.
Why am I picking?
Why wouldn't it not just be 1 and 2? Why would it not just be 1?
All right, Dallas, pick a number between 1 and 2.
Okay, I have my number.
All right, Donnie, pick the number.
2.
It was 2.
Let's go. I want to go second.
Okay. All right. Guess the year based off of the wheel spin. Here we go.
Click it. This bitch been spinning on its own.
Passing yards leader. So for this year, the passing yard leader was Tom Brady.
Good Lord!
That narrows it down. Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so it's a season between 2000 and 2024.
My.
Any guesses?
I have about 24 guesses.
You don't have to guess if you don't want to.
Or could have done it in any of those years. No, I'm not. I mean, is there anything wrong for do I lose points for taking a guess?
Nope, you just don't get it right.
Okay. I gotta think about the years he won MVP. So 2007, 10, and I believe 17 he won MVP. So I realistically got 5.
It's like 7 years, realistically.
Basically, look at the draw now. I'm gonna go 2010.
It is not 2010.
Watch this. 2007.
It is 2007.
Let's go.
I already want to quit.
What's that?
It is 2007. The
I
John Morant Sally out here.
Let's go. Dude.
Didn't even get to any other.
Just look at the draw at that point. There was you couldn't give me anybody in the world.
I just had a feeling it was 07. I'm like, fucking gotta be.
This man said, "All right, you're gonna guess rushing yards leaders in the NFL, but you gotta guess which year." Barry Sanders.
All right.
It's great, 1 in 10 chance.
All right, down to the next year.
That was crazy.
Here we go. The AFC -- seed. This year, it was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. That narrows it down a little bit.
I don't want to go first anymore.
We can rotate. I can go first.
Fuck you.
Okay. Rep, do something.
2024?
It was not 2024.
I mean,
they weren't even the number 1 seed this year.
They were, weren't they?
I think.
Yeah, I guess they were. Am I crazy? No, it was last year. They weren't a number 1 seed. I'm trying to think all the years they were the number 1 seed. 2022?
Not 2022.
I think we only have 3 or 4 options.
All right, next wheel spin.
Oh, okay.
Defensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald.
So now I just gotta think of the year that he was Defensive Player of the Year, and it's just luck of the draw.
That doesn't narrow it down really any more than what the Chiefs one does.
This man down, he's gonna snipe it again. I'm gonna guess the wrong year. Let's see. He won it in 2018, 2020, or 21. I'm trying to think. Let me go back. TJ won. Okay, so he won it in 2020, and I know for sure 2018. I don't remember the other year. I thought he won it 3 times. I'm gonna go with the one I'm for sure about. I'm gonna go 2018.
It is not 2018.
See, my problem is I know Aaron Donald has like 4 of them bitches. I just don't know all what years.
Probably like 2004.
Shut up. Kansas City's been the number 1 seed, I feel like, literally like every year other than 2 years ago. Because they've always had the AFC Championship at home, which means you're the number 1 seed. Yeah, I guess I'll go 2021. I'm not really sure.
It is not 2021.
Or...
Next, wheel spin. The MVP.
You say Tom Brady, I'll actually jump through this fucking screen.
Aaron Rodgers.
See, I know the answer to all these, but it's just like, can I guess the right year that you're thinking of? That's all. That's basically what it is at this point. 2021.
Being that Donnie just guessed 2021, I'm gonna say no.
Wait, what?
So is it?
I'm confused.
I just guessed 2021.
What does that have to? I thought it didn't matter, but wait, I'm confused.
Well, if I told Donnie 2021 was the incorrect year,
we're still guessing like the MVP in this and whatever the first category was. He's given us hint on what year it is, so it's all collective.
So what does that have to do with the last one?
This all happened in the same year, the same season.
So like whatever year this is, like the NFC's number 1 seed if it's the Lions. So it was the Lions were the NFC number 1 seed and the Chiefs were the AFC's number 1 seed in this specific year.
So how do I know when you're going to another thing?
When I got the one right, he reset.
Yeah, when you guys guessed the correct year.
Yeah, but you just spun it again.
Yeah, so
and he picked a different category.
Yeah, it's a different category to help you guess the year.
Yeah, he removed the category. Like MVP is gone now. If you look,
I'm so confused.
It's kind of like, it's not like Jeopardy, but I mean, it's kind of just like
I don't get how me.
I thought Colin wasn't joining us today.
No, Marshall. It's like if he was like, okay, guess the year, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and it was like, okay, who the Offensive Player of the Year was Aaron Rodgers. And we both got it wrong. The year, he's like, okay, now that category's out. The Defensive Player of the Year for this year was Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I did not know that's what you were doing.
We're halfway through a round.
I was gonna say, okay.
I was so confused. This is way too much. This is a lot.
So it was so this one, the AFC's number 1 seed was Kansas City. The MVP was Aaron Rodgers.
It's also just because it's like I feel like. I don't know.
You just gotta remember. You gotta remember all of it.
Like the Chiefs, the Defensive Player of the Year, and MVP. Oh, damn.
It was all in the same year. Marshall's so fucking bewildered.
Bro,
I didn't think it was this hard of a concept.
It doesn't help either that I truly have no fucking idea what year this is. So we're really fucked on this one.
It should just it doesn't make sense, honestly. What? I'm just gonna keep guessing years. Y'all got it.
Oh my god. Well, we got 8 minutes left. So.
Yeah, Donnie, it's your turn.
Is it 2020?
It is 2020.
If it wasn't 2020, dude, I have no fucking.
So now we're moving on to a new thing.
Now
right?
This is a new year. Yes.
Now look, see, there's what, 6 categories? Look at now there's what, 10?
Now the categories are back up.
Oh no.
I think Marshall, no offense, I think he's confused because it's a wheel. I think that's what's going on.
Honestly,
not even joking. I think that's what it is.
I'm not confused by the wheel at all. I'm confused at how I didn't realize we stayed on the same year, but for different categories until we got it right. I wasn't clear. I was not clear on that.
Why do you think he keeps spinning the wheel and like categories are going?
Just go and do a new one already. All right, we failed that one. All right, on to the next one. That's what I dead ass thought it was. I thought he deadass just was like, okay, nobody got the Defense Player of the Year. On to the next spin, and I thought we were just resetting this bitch. That's what I deadass thought he was doing.
Shout out to Colin, man. Shout out. All right, Marshall.
No, this is not just because I don't understand the game. I still have the knowledge. Colin will be like, 1982.
This is the best trivia of all time already.
It doesn't, I don't know. It makes sense now. it's just stupid. I don't know.
Are you ready, Marshall?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
No,
Here's
not
the
really.
wheel spin.
I also
Guess
just like,
the
I hate
year.
that basically it's just like a guessing game. Like I have to guess like,
Why do you think I did the grenade pull? Because I was just like throwing out a random number
no, I understand.
until we
what
got
you're
more
doing.
info.
Defensive player of the year was Luke Kuechly.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck. Okay, so see, this is a lot better than Aaron Donald. Because Aaron Donald, I basically just have a 33% chance. I know what years, but I don't. I feel like Luke Kuechly only won it once, so. Trying to think of when he was drafted.
He was like the best linebacker in the league for like a 5-year stretch. Him and
Yeah,
Bobby were.
but I only think he won it once. I thought he won it like really early in his career. That's the other thing.
I don't know.
I want to say. Was he drafted? He was drafted the year after Cam, I thought. Was it 2013?
Attaboy, Marshall, 2013.
I was gonna guess 2016 when they won on the Super Bowl run.
I thought it was really early in his career. I didn't know if it was that early, but
I think he was drafted in like 2011.
he was drafted in 2012. I thought.
I think he was in the Cam draft because he was like the 10th overall pick.
No, I don't think he was on the Cam draft. No, yeah, no. They got Cam first overall and then Kuechly 10th overall.
I didn't think about being drafted.
Yeah, no, I think he was 2012.
Panthers were nailing those draft picks back then. Jesus.
Pause. Is that it?
We got that's it.
God damn it. We're tied one apiece, bro. Like, come on.
Well, you won the first two. What do you mean?
I didn't win the first two, did I?
Yeah,
Oh, I did. Fucking second, Marshall.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode of the podcast. If you guys are wanting, interested, we were talking about doing that NBA podcast hopefully next week. So stay tuned for that, and then stay tuned for some more off-season football talks. The schedule comes out Wednesday, so obviously, when that comes out, we definitely got to do a podcast episode on that. Besides that, we're almost to training camp, and then it's almost to preseason and back to another football season just like that. So appreciate y'all for watching. We will have Colin back next week with his Zoom Pro account. We will see y'all We'll see y'all on the next episode. Peace.